Right, yeah, business, business.
Oh, here's a question for
Good faith.
everyone. What is going to happen to contract terminated Nyland? Are we going to get a free transfer to get rid of him? Because just not fair, is it?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. He's probably going to be. He'll just be a red, and he'll just be sat there. 'Cause I remember when they got the when you have like three, like if you got Chilwell and you'd
Yeah.
already had three Chelsea players, and then Chilwell comes into it. I always remember people going like, "Oh, do we get a free transfer to swap him out?" Because they had to make a change then, because you can't have four, obviously. And they were just like, "No, that just has to be your first one." So I probably just think it would just be red and on your bench,
I know
unless
what
you sell
FPL
it.
should do. They should update his picture as he decomposes. Like, so just so you know he's of no use.
Just like Zombie Island.
Yeah, the only way they can update it is by doing that. But, you know, will he go to another Premier League club? I highly doubt that if Villa have terminated his contract. But then with COVID and everything, you can understand why they terminate contracts.
Well,
Where,
yeah, you've had Wiltshire as well as that is mutually terminated.
yeah, Gunnosaurus.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, is he getting his job back with Özil paying for it?
I think Ozil's meant to be cover his wage, but I wasn't sure whether Ozil had said only if you let me play. I think that was what he was saying, or was he just saying as long as I'm part of this team, which he is, but
Yeah, yeah. I think he said as long as he's an Arsenal player.
playing
So, but
games, isn't he?
well, yeah. I mean, when was the last time he actually played a game?
The sad thing about him is we all know he's great attacking, assisting player, but everyone knows he doesn't do the dirty side of the game, tracking back, tackling, and you can't have that in a Premier League team or probably any team nowadays. You really can't.
No, you can only really get away with that if it's like your number nine or something like that who has to stay up the
Yeah,
far end of the
exactly.
pitch. But for someone who's in the midfield, especially when that midfield gets limited to three players most of the time, they can't just be waltzing around and then only interested when the ball goes forward.
So, FPL, if you tuned in, because it is two of us plus two guests, make sure we get a free Nyland transfer, please.
Yeah, yeah. There's big calls on this audience.
So go to the chat, just see Optimus in there, Sean in there. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for helping us test this out. What are you doing, boss? Says Optimus. I tell you what, we
That's what
haven't
we've
got a
been wondering.
clue.
Kane, Kane is injured for the international break. I mean, same as Sterling,
Oh, I
same as
know.
anyone that gets injured.
Yeah, he'll. But the thing is, will he be fine with this muscular injury by the time they come back to play?
I'm sure he'll be fine.
And that's always the tough part of FPL, isn't it? When you get these little sort of niggles, they're not major injuries, and you never get the clear decision whether or not they're going to play. It's really difficult. So,
Yeah, especially when you have a manager like Jose who's
oh,
being more deceptive than at least when Pep just goes, oh well, I got a full squad, anyone can play. You're kind of like, oh right, fine. But when
yeah,
your manager is saying, oh, he could be out for weeks, then you're kind of having to
exactly.
read between the lines you've already read between.
So Mourinho, now he's shown them colours fully, like no one's going to trust him now, are they? And it's probably going to cost someone again. We've heard Mourinho say it before. We'll just put him in anyway, and then he won't, and it'll
Yeah,
be one of them sort of. Oh dear.
there'll be the Monday game, and then he'll come out on the Saturday evening or something that Kane's out for, or possibly out for 1 or 2 weeks. It's not like a long term injury when you can just go, right, okay, I'll sell him, I'll get rid of him, I'll take the hit on this game week or something. It'd be like it'll still be that sort of, or will he be back for the next game week, or is it just the one I'll be missing? And it'll just mess with your mind, and you'll just end up selling him anyway. I don't actually have Kane. I've only got Son as my Spurs people.
It's
Although,
interesting. It's like I don't know. So many things to talk about. I mean, if you look at my team here, I've got because of Kane, I could swap him for Helder Costa v Wolves.
Yeah.
Or just start Kane, basically, and then Costa will come in. So I'm going to do it that way, which is always a good way as well. Make sure you've got that backup player. Unless it's Nyland, who you know isn't going to do nothing if he come in.
Well, yeah. To be fair, it's probably best that he just came in and got 0 points, because I think Nyland was probably one of the players that were odds on to get a minus point every time he played.
Jesus.
Some of his saves, quote unquote.
Still 4 viewers, that's fine. I mean, I haven't advertised it. It's not glamorous, not glorious, but I tell you what, it's nice to have a guest on, and I can notice the effect on my voice already.
You get a little break. You can have a breather. You can have a cup of tea, while sit here and say, Sean wishes that Ozil's contract was terminated. I mean, I think most Arsenal fans wish that about 4 years ago. So, still hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're still wishing for it, and I think he's got 1 year left, hasn't he? So it's gonna. Arteta's not giving in, is he?
No, he's not playing him. It's just gonna peter out like Ramsey's did, but I'm not really sure you get much value from him now. I mean, he's still a good player for someone in like the Liga or the French league or something, but I don't think he'll be picked up by a major club come next summer.
No, you wouldn't really want to. I mean, everyone can clearly see why he was dropped. It's that defensive side. It just depends, doesn't it, what sort of team. But I think, like, obviously, like smaller clubs would love a player like that, wouldn't they? They'd take the chance still.
Oh yeah, if he was at someone like a Palace or something like that, just because I'll go there anyway. And you had players like MacArthur and McCarthy behind him, or someone at Burnley, someone to protect him from having to protect the defence, and then just let him stay up behind the striker or something like that. Just having like the two of them, then he could probably flourish a little bit more, or just having loads of players around him like he did at Real Madrid, that he can just sort of pass the ball to someone and then they go off and score, and it tots up his assists.
So I'm just trying to see if I can find your team in here. In Nim's league.
Let me stare down at this. It's probably somewhere towards the bottom.
Join the club. I think everyone's joint bottom because of the awful start and the non-logical sense to the results.
In fact, I can probably tell you is it 1360? I think 1360 is my. Go away. Yeah, 1360 is my ID number.
How do I find you then?
I suppose if you go to your game where you see your ID number in your game week history in the URL, and then I suppose delete your number and put my number in. Would that work?
Sorry, switch screen because I've typed your number in. I've got a hotkey saved. It's jumped. Oh wow, these are the things that you're not prepared for, But first time doing it.
Oh yeah.
There we go, we're back.
64 points. It's more than I got.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
Should we have a look at Nim's team quick and just see what we think? Just because I can't find you at the moment, and obviously with the hotkeys I can't type you in either. It won't let me. But what I think I will do, Mig, is when I do get this all set up properly, like decent layout and everything, I'll have you on as a first guest. I think that's only fair. You've helped me out today and you've been a great mod, and definitely a great member of the FPL community as well, dude. So
All
yeah,
right.
having a look
Where
at.
I'm looking at Nim's league. I'm two. I think you said I'm 296th.
Okay, we'll find you then.
You have to click through a few pages.
We will get there.
Oh wow, that is quite low. What's my total point? 100. I'm not even got. I haven't even got 200 points yet.
Zenit St. Mixburg, of course.
There you go.
There we go. I like the flag. What flag is that?
That is the Cocos Islands.
Oh.
Cocos Islands, I think. Because I did have the Christmas Island, but everyone seemed to go off of that. Bless him. So I went with the Cocos Islands, just because it sounded like cocoa.
So you've got
Wow,
you've got McCarthy in goal. So you've held on to him, all right. You didn't jump off for the Southampton.
No, I did. I wanted to, but I decided against wildcarding, just because I couldn't think about it. So he's kind of just stayed there just through default and luck, really, that he's actually got some returns the last couple of games. Because every time I've played with a wild card, he's gone straight out. And they're running fixtures coming up now. It isn't so fresh, shall we say? I don't think McCarthy. Well, yeah, Chelsea and Everton up next.
I had KWP and McCarthy in the first game week, and then obviously they couldn't keep the clean sheet and whatnot. And I'm not sure. Was there an injury to KWP? I'm not sure.
He got that red card that then got rescinded. I'll just put my finger on my glasses.
But then I had other fires to put out, so I used my wild card and whatnot. And then Southampton obviously went and started keeping clean sheets. I was like, my word. I think Nim done the same as well.
Yeah.
But it's
I think, to be fair, I think quite a lot of people did, because everyone jumped on Southampton at the start because of their how they were during the Project Restart games, and then they just tanked against Palace and tanked even worse in the next game. So everyone, to be fair, I think it's only the people who didn't wildcard who actually still have Southampton people in their team. I would have got off them if I had the chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Laziness has kept Southampton in my team.
And then I like you got Lewis, because he did well for a while until he got kicked in the face by Basuma. But he looks like a decent player that can get into attacking positions. I think as he matures, time goes on, he could end up assisting a few more.
Yeah, I'd hope so, especially because he's got maximum on his side, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
So. Yeah, I think so. So hopefully those two can form some sort of fluid partnership where they're overlapping each other, and he can grab some assists for Wilson. But he's dropped off a little bit, I think, in the last couple of games. He's only got me ones and maybe a two last game week, but he did look promising at the start of the season. Oh yeah, he got a 0 there, didn't he?
Yeah, and then I'm just looking at Lucas Digne, who I really like as a pick, especially in that Everton team.
The one Everton player I have, and it's the one that's not getting any assists or goals. I think he got a clean. I think he's had clean sheet. And I think he got an assist in the first game.
He got an assist against Tottenham, an assist against Palace, but he blanked.
Oh yeah, of course, against Palace. How could I forget?
Blanked against West Brom and Brighton. West Brom, you wouldn't have thought so, would you? But that
not after that first game, no.
5-2 game that was. I mean, there's been a lot of goals, hasn't there?
Well, yeah, in the two close games, he's returned. It's just when they've absolutely butchered teams, he's nowhere to be seen. He's not even getting a clean sheet out of it.
But I understand the pick. Like, he's on free kicks. He's got that assist. It looked like he was sort of coming back to the player he used to be. So could get more returns. What are Everton's fixtures? Liverpool next, obviously, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Southampton and Newcastle after that.
See, that's the thing. I can't take him out to try and get maybe an attacking. I mean, I don't want to buy Calvert Lewin. I really don't. I don't want to buy him. I
No,
it's
that
got it's got Pookie from last season written all over it.
I
It's got
know
that feeling
exactly
that he's
what you
gonna.
mean. You get these players that do well for a while, and then by the time you get on them, then they blank. And that's the thought probably for you, is that he's going to start blanking soon.
Yeah, I mean, especially now that the official FPL has asked if he's essential. I mean, he's obviously now going to blank until the next international game week. So
Exactly why it's official FPL's fault for doing
yeah,
these
they've
stories.
cursed. They've cursed him now.
Yeah.
They've jumped on him, and it's just going to go downhill from now. You heard it. You heard it on this test. He's not scoring for the rest of the season.
Another player in your team, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Wow. Two
Yeah,
7-pointers, one against Chelsea, one against Arsenal. So it's a goal and a clean sheet. Aston Villa, obviously, we know what happened there, 7-2. But do you think Liverpool are essential defensively now, or are you doing it more for attacking returns? What's your thoughts there?
I was thinking more for attacking, especially with Trent. I mean, I was hoping that they'd still be defensively solid at the start of the season. He was kind of one of the first ones that went into the team. But after seeing them defensively, I mean, have they even kept a clean sheet this season? I,
Surely not.
one,
They
one
did.
against Chelsea,
My
but
God.
but then they've conceded 3, 6, 8 goals in 3 games. I mean,
Jesus. And Grealish was heavily involved in assisting, wasn't he, in that game?
he tore them apart. They
My
couldn't even
God.
contain Grealish. I mean, that's just
I don't know what to think, really,
it's
in
a lot of
terms of
money.
Liverpool now. I, one season wonder.
Yeah, and they'll be lucky to get Europe. Lucky to get
Jeez.
Europe.
And then Podence was one. He played last game. I didn't get to see the game. Do you know much about him now? I mean, he looked
Not
good on the eye before, and I bring him in as well. And then
Yeah,
obviously,
he looked really good in that Man City game.
yeah,
When he could have scored. I think he hit the bar or something. He could have scored, and then everyone lumped on him. I left it a little bit late and then thought, okay, I'll jump on him as well. Um, but then he got dropped, or he was injured, and he came on. Oh, he didn't play. Yeah, he didn't play at all, and then he sort of started. But I don't think he really shone in the last game. I really got him in just mainly for the fixtures, because Jimenez was the real Wolves player I wanted. Even though since I got him, he scored an own goal and then blanked as my captain last week. So that hasn't exactly gone wonderful. But
no.
he was the main one I wanted, and Podence was really just there for the fixtures because they looked so good. It just looked so good that I had to get 2 of them.
And then, like, when West Ham turned up and done that to Wolves, I think it's more. West Ham have improved defensively. They're very organised at the back. And then they obviously hit you on the break. And they just do it with long balls from the defence, and Antonio's through, or whoever scored the other goals for them. They're just. Yeah, they're just more solid, I think, West Ham.
Yeah,
Um,
they're looking a bit more like a David Moyes team now. I think because he was always quite well defensed at Everton, not really
yeah.
too well at Man United, but he went well for him at Everton. So I think he's trying to get more into that mold, and then just letting someone like Antonio run in the front. I think I saw yesterday on Sky Sports was saying that they were close to getting Ben Rama from Brentford. But I know Palace
Yes.
is heavily linked with. So if they get him, he could be really one to look at. Because I really wanted him at Palace. So hopefully that's not true.
He's there at new Marco Arnautovic, I think, but as a winger, but could still probably do a job up top.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he scored a goal in the League Cup and it was all over Twitter, and he like nutmegged the player and then curled it in the bottom corner. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But yeah, he could definitely be one to look at. And was it just a blip against a poor Wolves team? I don't really think Wolves. Was it more a case of Wolves being bad than West Ham being good? I'm not too sure, but I'm hoping that Wolves can certainly improve, especially since I've got two of them.
Yeah, especially because everyone looked at the fixtures, didn't they? And Wolves being a strong team and the calibre of the players they got, everyone does. Well, I've doubled up on them. Well, tripled up I have. Saiss, Cody and Podence. Yeah.
Oh, double defence.
So, thoughts on Mr. Highest assister from last season, Kevin De Bruyne?
Has he turned up yet so far this season? No, of course he has. Of course he has.
Goal scored 1 against Wolves.
And that was a penalty.
Yeah. Oh, he got an assist as well there, 13 points. So, but like you say, against Wolves, West Ham done him. I don't know. I think Wolves' problem might be because they've got a few new faces in there trying to gel into the team as well.
Well, they all speak the same language, so it should be fine. I mean, they're all Portuguese, aren't they?
Yeah, they just need Ronaldo in there.
Poor Cody at the back, just wondering like if he's on. Where who do I talk to?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Just header it out. You guys go play. It's fine.
Cody,
I'll go score any goals for England.
When do England play? Do they play this evening?
I believe so. Yes. Where's my score centre?
I'll be keeping my eye on Cody in that one.
Tonight. I don't know. Such thing about this Nations League. I don't even know what group we're in.
Just go Group E for England. Just
we have our own group.
Simplify it.
No, we might not be tonight. Tomorrow. International match. Who are we even playing? This is so bad.
Yeah, Sean FPL saying that the Liverpool defensive line is too high. I agree with him on that. But I think maybe when they get that Alcantara in, he'll be just holding the ball all the time, passing and protecting that high line a bit more.
Oh, wow. I don't think we're playing till Wednesday. Against Denmark?
Oh, really? Kasper Schmeichel.
The Lord Bentner.
Yeah.
He still plays for them.
He's still got it.
Yeah, the Liverpool defence, the Man City defence, they're pretty much playing with the midfielders, and you're left with the goalkeeper. That's how they're getting. That's how Man City got caught out by Leicester, because it was just like Jamie Vardy just had the whole of their half to play with, and you had
he doesn't give up, does he?
No, he's like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, very much so. Dog with the points on the bone, but they're not my kind of bones, so I don't get the points.
No, I haven't got any Leicester.
I got Vardy's points right at the beginning, then after that I missed his hat trick. I took him out on my wild card.
Oh,
absolutely gutted on that one, because that would have given me that little path back in. Just a little bit, took the edge off of Salah's hat trick, was it?
Yeah, in the first game, yeah. I didn't have Salah.
I can't believe it. I've never. This is just the way I play, and perhaps it is my own fault. But we all play our own ways, different styles. But I've never been a Salah owner really. And then I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. I was more of a Mane guy last season. And he's doing it again to me, Salah. You know, it's that fear. You know, they got hammered by Villa, but who got the 2 goals? Salah.
Yeah.
And it's like, he keeps doing it. And
Just like just to compound things.
his
His
first
Salah
goal
with his
was
3 bonus
jammy.
points, whatever he got.
Is in the right place at the right time. I think it was clear. It just fell to him. He just, there we go, put it in the net. It was like, oh, really? Did you have to do that? But now I'm sort of looking at his price rising and how high he is, and I can't get him in unless I take hits or save my transfers. So I'm hoping that Salah falls off a little bit. Or
Sean is
someone.
absolutely right. It was the second drop down box I looked at, and England are playing Belgium at 5 o'clock tonight.
Whoa, nice.
So we're playing 3 games.
Jeez. Southgate, wow.
No wonder he put the kids out in the last game.
I like that
Wow.
you've got Ings, though. I think he's going to just tick over. He'll keep bringing you points.
Yeah, he was my. I did have Werner there until this week. He was my move from Werner. That's why I didn't get rid of Son, because I'd done the Werner. What I'd never really do was during the weekend. It was just like as soon as Werner played, it's like no, don't want this anymore. Don't want this anymore. Got rid of him. Got Ings in, and that's why the Son would have been a -4 to get rid of him, and I didn't do it. So Ings has kind of, in a way, got me like 20 points
That's
in that
brilliant.
game week. But no, he's those sort of ones, especially with the games they've got coming up. He should tick away with a goal here, a goal there. Just whether or not he stays in the wild card and I'll go a bit more premium up front, I'm not too sure, because Mitrovic hasn't exactly blown me away either. He looked good in the last game. He was in good positions. I think he got a goal the first game week, second game week. But so I'm not sure, just to drop Mitrovic right down to what's his name, Brewster.
Yeah, no, I like that. I
Up Ings,
like
up to
that.
someone.
I think Mitrovic struggling simply because Scott Parker tactically, and they just look poor. They look awful. Fulham, they're going down for sure, I'd say.
Oh, it's they had it the last time they were up. They were great in the Championship, and then just absolutely fell apart in the Premier League. I mean, I know they played a lot more free-flowing attacking football then. They just basically just got caught out. But you would think they'd learn again to be. You need to be more solid when you come into the Premier League. You know, the Championship's a good league. I mean, Palace were in there for a long time before we got out of it, and we may be going back down to it. I don't know. But they needed to learn to be more solid and then just grind out games rather than sort of like Leeds are kind of getting away with it at the moment because they're scoring so many goals. But as soon as those goals start drying up front and they're still conceding the goals at the back, they're going to get pulled back down into it as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think that's very true. They can't defend because they're attacking so much. That's why they're getting caught out. Eventually, I think Bamford will stop scoring. I think last game he managed to nick that late goal, a header. It was a good header, but it was very much nicked out of. He didn't have too many chances, I don't think, in that game.
No, yeah, he's been more clinical than anything. I
Yeah,
don't think
that's
he's
true.
had massive amount of chances. He's put away the ones he's needed to, which not a lot of strikers do. Timo Werner.
So before I end this stream, I just want to get your thoughts on Crystal Palace. You know, the likes of Eze defensively, and what your thoughts are going forward.
Defensively, we're not too bad. I mean, the Chelsea game last one out was good the first half,
Yeah.
kept solid, held them back, but then completely fell apart in the second half. I don't know what happened, but everyone just turned to mashed potato. Penalties all over the place, but I think hopefully that's just more of a one-off, and then we keep solid. I think PVA's not that far off, so maybe the 4 mil options may dry up now. Although Mitchell has done well. I mean, he had a couple of mistakes in the last game, but then, you know, he is young, he will learn.
Yeah, he had to come in, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's like just the same as Wan-Bissaka when he came in for Ward a couple of seasons ago. He's taken his chance. It's there were people reporting that the way Roy was saying he was kind of like he's impressed. It's now his shirt to lose, sort of thing. I'm not sure how true that is, um, especially when you have someone with the Premier League experience that PVA does. But then I don't really know about Ferguson's injury. It it's always been that sort of unknown return date sort of thing with his knee. So I'm not too sure when he's supposed to come back because I thought he'd be an immediate first team choice over Ward, but then Ward's done all right.
Yeah.
Um, so he probably won't go straight in.
Because Ferguson
Eze's
was that
looked,
first choice, wasn't he, before
yeah.
Mitchell? And then everyone knew he got injured. Everyone turned to Mitchell as the budget option. And he's done okay, hasn't he, really, for a young man?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mitchell's done wonderful. He's done great. I haven't actually played him in any four of the game weeks. I don't think.
Oh,
Um,
that's tough, though.
maybe.
You can't blame yourself for that. It's one
Oh
of
no,
them.
it's purely left on the bench just to curse him because I would hope that he would get clean sheets every week and I wouldn't get the points for it, but then Palace get a clean sheet. That was my hope, and it worked for about 2 game weeks, and then I think they caught on to me. But Eze's looked good. Um, he's he hasn't. I'd say he hasn't produced much. He's been attacking. He's been free flowing. He has done his defensive duties as well, which is not what I thought he would do. I thought he would play more sort of left wing, maybe as a number 10, but he's Roy's sticking to that 4-4-2, so he's like right out on the left, and he's helped out Mitchell. Um, Wilf's looked good except for last game, and now apparently he doesn't want to stay because he's had one bad game. I mean, come on, get a grip.
That's not on, really, is it? You know, he came in, he played well, he was getting points, goals, should I say, and then now all of a sudden he decides to do that. That's not very fair, I don't think.
No,
On
I mean it's the people on like Talk Sport and stuff like that. You're like, oh, his head's been turned. He's been held against his will. He doesn't want to play. He's not enjoying his football. I know you kind of like he's had one bad game. It's just like he's that sort of player where if something doesn't go right for him in the first half an hour or so, he's going to get frustrated. His head's going to go down. He's probably not going to have a great game. But if he can keep his head up like he did again in the first game week, and then when he ripped Man United apart, he can have a good week every week. I mean, and we got wonderful fixtures coming up. I say wonderful on paper.
what about Eze then?
I actually earmarked him to go in about now in my initial sort of plans. Um, he was going to be my sort of fourth midfielder, that's sort of around the 6 mil.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure about jumping in until he starts getting a run of returns because you've got Wilf there who's actually, well, having some penalties as well. I mean, Milivojevic will come back into the team at some point and probably take those off of him.
Oh yeah.
But he's playing a striker, so he's out of position. He's having chances. He's putting them away. Eze is taking on players and maybe producing more, but he's not getting the returns. And when you've got other players in that position like Pereira at West Brom, Greenwood's not too much more expensive as soon as Man United get running. So Eze is sort of getting a bit lost in the wilderness at the moment. So hopefully he can start getting some returns in these good fixtures, and then I can go, right, okay, I can downgrade one of my players, quote unquote, price wise anyway, and jump on
nice
Eze.
differential there, really.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, hardly anyone owns him.
Exactly. When you're a fan of a team, you've got that sort of insight, haven't you? Whereas if for me supporting Arsenal, I haven't really got much of a clue on him. I've watched him sort of play and that, but when you're a fan and you're watching, you seem to take more into what they do in that game than if it was someone else's team, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, when you're watching other teams, you're thinking, right, is he getting good positions? Is he going to get me points? Whereas when you're watching your own team, you're sort of looking at the work ethic. You're seeing if they're getting back, seeing how many times they get on the ball. Like you probably know more about like watching someone like Ceballos or something like that than I would. Like I just see him and he's like, oh, he's on set pieces and he's got an assist. That's pretty much as I know. Whereas talk to you or Neil or something, you're like, oh, he's a great player. You know, he's always getting in there. He's getting assists and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
The
But
best ones are when you watch a game and on the eye the player looks good. They don't even have to score or assist, but they can come very close a lot of times, and you think, right, that's going to come next game. You get them in, you start them, and then it pays off. I managed to do that with Helder Costa,
yeah,
but now I'm sort of thinking with him, can he keep doing that? He might be able to get something against Wolves, but it's sort of a mini punt, just a small time period, and it doesn't matter because I can have him on the bench and prioritise better players. But when you get them sort of eye test players and you predict, it's so satisfying, isn't it?
oh yeah. When you see a player that you're like, oh yeah, he's doing well. He's getting in the chances. He hasn't got anything yet, but he looks hungry for it, and you're like, right, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for it. And then when they return, especially if it's that game week, like when you were saying about Costa in Nim's dream team, or even like the week after, it's just like, yes, completely vindified. Even if the rest of your team does nothing, if that player gets a goal, it's like, right, I've had a good game week. I've called it. I've called it. I've won.
Exactly. So satisfying, isn't it? Captaincy. How do you normally go about your captaincy? What are your tactics for that? Like, gut feelings or just performance, or you see the most captained player? What is your preference there?
I don't look at I don't go onto Scout and look at the most captain player and stuff like that. I usually I usually set my team not too long after the game resets. So probably during the first match of the game week, I sort of move it around. Don't do any transfers or anything like that. Just move the players I've got, and I whack the captaincy normally on who's got a good fixture. If I haven't got someone like I haven't got Salah at the moment, it would probably usually just go on a big player and just sit there for the week. But like with Jimenez up against Fulham, it was like he's against Fulham. Jimenez
Yeah.
tends to score goals. I'm just going to put it on him. He's probably not going to be highly captained. It's one of those ones where it could go really well for me, or it could just kind of be a meh, and it just kind of ended up being meh. But then the only people who really returned in my team were Son and Havertz. Son was a doubt. I was never going to put him on it. It was against Man United. You don't really captain players against Man United. Well, maybe you do now.
Yeah, exactly. In hindsight, um,
Havertz against Palace. Palace have been better defensively, and Havertz hadn't really done anything, so I wasn't going to whack it on them. I could have been really cheeky and gone for a Digne or something like that, but I'm not that crazy yet. Usually towards the end of the season.
especially after such a tough season as well.
Yeah.
It's very, very ballsy to do that now.
Which is-
I couldn't do it. I was very guilty of captaining a defender about 3 or 4 times in a season last season. Like you could do it like a Doherty or a
Yeah.
Trent, But this season, absolutely not. Not with the amount of goals that have been flying in. Very
No,
difficult to do that.
and you just can't predict. I was quite surprised of how many clean sheets there have been, because I looked back and I was like, oh well, there was like half the games in the first game week had someone with a clean sheet, which was far more than I thought. I thought there was going to be like 1 or 2 clean sheets of the whole season, but they seem to be getting missed. But you just can't predict who's going to have them each game week. No one's looked 100% sure.
So I think I'll round this stream off. Test stream has been fun, and thanks for joining us, Mig. I don't know whether I'll keep this video or not because of the bad, like all the testing at the beginning. I don't know. I suppose it can't hurt because then you could look back on it and just go, yeah, that was my first one where I had a guest on, and it's quite funny, I suppose, some of the things that happened. But yeah, if you like the video, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and enjoy the boring international football. Yeah, see you in game week 5. Hopefully we get 80 points at least.